it's possible we've peaked in price.
I'm gonna say no.
You think we have like a massive boom and a massive bust?
Well, here's why. Not because of the cycle, but I think there's a massive recession coming after the boom. So like we're gonna get I think we're gonna get a pump into midterms.
What if we don't? What if we get no pump? This is what you scared me with. What if we get no pump?
Yeah.
Or the pump to like in pump terms, whatever metric you want to take, Bitcoin goes up 10%, gold, whatever. Something goes up a little bit, not a lot. And then the whole thing crashes and they don't print until we beg.
It goes to 150 and then goes to 60.
It goes to 20.
Yeah.
No, and everything with it.
Fucking load up.
And everyone is just like, what? Like, and they're like, look, if you want us to print, you're going to get $90 eggs.
But that would fuck Trump.
They don't mind. I think Trump is here.
He totally has to win the midterm election.
They wouldn't. The right would never let Biden print to infinity. The right would never let Biden do the digital surveillance. Trump was
just like, yeah, I agree with Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, right.
Like they're gonna pump.
They agree on.
They're going to pump.
Yeah, but
they're going to print.
Just when though, like you said. So are they going to do it before the crash or after? And how much of a crash and how long?
Well, okay.
And both. Do they do a pump, crash, then pump?
Let me just take that and describe it this way. If it happens, it has to happen before July if we're going to get a crash. Because July...
That's like 30 days.
Yeah, I know. July 9th, $5 trillion in treasuries need to be refinanced.
But I think a lot of people
interest rates have not come down. Jerome Powell's not showing any indication that he's going to lower interest rates anytime soon. If that's the case, and we have high interest rates, and we're going to try and refinance it back into high interest rates, that guarantees
Weimar, like
massive inflation interest payments going forward, and just the debt bubble getting bigger and bigger and bigger. If that's the case, right, then we're going to be in a position rapidly where we have to completely devalue the dollar, and we have to create massive amounts of liquidity somehow.
Well, they have to do those things. So they have to create the narrative to do it.
Does the Treasury do QE? Does it there's like some of these thoughts out there where maybe there's an internal battle between the Fed and the Treasury. And this is not going to be resolved.
Right.
And if that's not resolved, if the Fed is like, we are not going to print this time, because historically there's been precedents where they said, let's not print because we can seize more control. Let's bankrupt the Fed so we can seize.
We need pain.
We don't like Trump. Let's not print. We can punish him and then we can come back in and seize more control. The big banks, the global banks, the London banks, the Wall Street banks seize more control.
Right.
Where at the same time you see Eric Trump and his brother on TV saying, screw the banks. They've been screwing us.
I saw Donald Trump speak at industry
you could presume there's a war there.
He was talking a lot about
between the Trump administration
and the big banks. That's interesting.
And who owns the Fed? Right? So
the big banks.
The biggest banks.
That's interesting.
Right? So if the Fed says, fuck him, we're not going to print.
Right.
And they're going to be stuck in this month and a half here that we have to we got to get interest rates down, or we got to get a new person installed at the Fed, or we have to kill the Fed. And we have to do QE on our own. We got to issue a treasury dollar. We got to go back to a constitutional dollar. We got to get off a debt-based dollar. A dollar issued by the Treasury, backed by gold and Bitcoin.
That's a bridge very far.
That's a freaking game changer.
That's not happening.
That's like nobody's bingo card.
No one's.
Except mine.
It's interesting. But I think this question is more designed around are the ETFs going to just buy so much Bitcoin? Are the Bitcoin treasury companies buying so much Bitcoin that we just never get a dip?
That's the story.
That's the story.
That's the story, right?
It's a good story. It's very viable.
Bitcoin, where all these corporations buy the Bitcoin. But if the Federal Reserve doesn't print, the U.S. government is smoked.
Okay.
They're smoked. And if they are smoked, what are their options? Right? So if you step back and you just look at this as like the Federal Reserve and the Trump administration are actually enemies, that's a whole different picture.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
That's very interesting.
And I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to play out. I'm just saying that's a position, a view, a timeline that you should hold, because if it's not happening now, that could happen in the future.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.